If you had to pick one single thing to invest every ounce of your energy in for the next year, what would it be? Pause a second and name it in your mind. Not 5 things, 1. If everything else fell away, what one effort would you choose to keep building? That question is the hinge of everything we're about to say. Do your part, and God will do the impossible to lift you to the top. That is the claim I want to make with you today. It's not a magic formula, and it's not a promise that every desire will be fulfilled on demand. It is a principle of partnership between human will and divine response. Napoleon Hill, writing about personal success, put it plainly: success comes from faith applied. Faith without movement is an incomplete faith. When you take unmistakable steps toward a clear purpose, heaven often responds in ways that look like the impossible. Most of us live on the edge of a trap. We pray, we hope, we whisper petitions into the dark. And then we carry on, scattered, distracted, living as if the thing we asked for is someone else's responsibility. You know the pattern. You ask for clarity, but you spend your days chasing every bright idea that passes by. You ask for provision, and you keep the same habits that never produced it. You ask for breakthrough, and your actions are tiny, inconsistent, polite gestures rather than bold exertions. Prayer is essential, but prayer alone, without applied faith, often leads to frustration. Imagine 2 farmers. Both kneel in the dirt and say, "Lord, let there be a harvest." One farmer plants the seeds, tills the soil, watches the sky, and moves when the weather demands it. The other kneels and waits for rain without planting. Which one are you? The story of partnership is simple. You prepare the field, God sends the wind and the rain. Your responsibility is to plant, water, weed, and keep faith through the dry stretches. Divine movement is real, but it is often triggered, not replaced, by your steady work. If you are serious about moving, start with 3 essentials. First, purpose. Second, desire. Third, disciplined action. These are not abstract virtues. They are the 3 engines that make faith functional. Purpose is the compass. When every decision is measured against one clear aim, the noise falls away. I want you to write a 1-sentence purpose today. Not a paragraph, not a list, 1 sentence that captures your highest aim for the next 12 months. Make it measurable. Give it a deadline. For example, my purpose is to create a sustainable income from my craft of coaching, $60,000 in revenue within 12 months. Or, my purpose is to finish and publish a book of practical prayer and personal stories by this date next year. The sentence forces clarity and creates a boundary around your energy. Once you have that sentence, break it into a 12-month measurable goal. Ask, what does success look like in 1 year specifically? Numbers help because they make a promise you can test. If you refuse to quantify, you will drift. Purpose without measurable markers becomes vague sentiment. Measure it, then reduce it into actionable quarter, month, and weekly targets. Desire is the fuel. Purpose tells you where to go. Desire gives you the heat to keep going when the path grows steep. Desire is not mere wishful thinking. It is an ardent, disciplined appetite that is fed and focused every day. Here are 3 practical ways to fan that flame. Read 1 story or testimony every morning of someone who did something similar. Visualize your end state for 5 minutes before work begins. And model your process on 1 person already further down the road. Desire must be deliberate. It's a muscle you exercise daily. Action is the engine. Napoleon Hill used the phrase faith applied to describe how inner conviction becomes outer results. You cannot apply faith with grand declarations alone. You apply it with consistent, measurable actions. I want to give you a simple architecture for your day: sacred hours, time blocks, and micro goals. Pick 2 sacred hours each weekday where you work undisturbed on your highest impact task. Guard them like a sanctified appointment. If your one-sentence purpose needs building a product, writing a chapter, cultivating clients, or training your body, these sacred hours are for the work that directly advances that sentence. During these hours, eliminate distractions: phone on airplane, email closed, notifications off. 2 small pockets of inviolable work are more powerful than an all-day someday session that never arrives. Then time block the rest of your day around those hours. Use 60 to 90-minute blocks for focused work, 5-minute breaks between blocks, and a 15 to 30-minute review at the end of each day. The review is critical. What moved you forward? What didn't? What will you start tomorrow with the same intensity? The daily review turns effort into learning and keeps your routine honest. Micro goals are the small victories that compound. If your 12-month goal is to launch a ministry podcast with 12 episodes, your micro goals might be: Day 1, write the one-sentence purpose. Day 2, outline 3 episode ideas. Day 3, record a 5-minute sample. Day 4, edit and publish a trailer. Day 5, identify 3 outreach partners. Day 6, schedule a batch recording. Day 7, review metrics and adjust. The 7-day starter plan I'll give you later is a practical version of this. Start imperfect. Momentum corrects mistakes far better than waiting for perfect conditions. Now let's diagnose the emotional landmines that steal your momentum: fear, inertia, and perfectionism. Fear whispers, "What if you fail?" Inertia says, "Tomorrow is safer." Perfectionism demands, "Not until it's flawless." These are not moral failures, they are predictable human responses. Name them when they appear. Give them a task. Thank you for the warning. Now I will take one imperfect action. If fear insists on reasons not to start, make a small, low-risk move anyway. Send one email, write one paragraph, make one call. That move weakens fear and strengthens confidence. Perseverance is the measure point God watches, not because divine help is a reward for merit, but because endurance reveals intent and refines capacity. Tests come to show what you'll trade to reach your aim. Will you stop at the first setback or become more resourceful? Will you adapt your plan, not abandon your purpose? Countless stories of breakthrough follow sequences of persistent effort. The same person trying different techniques, learning, recalibrating, and refusing to treat failure as final. Persistence isn't glamorous, it's boring work done repeatedly. It's what prepares you to receive unexpected openings. There is a difference between passive prayer and active faith. Passive prayer says, "Lord, please do this for me," and then waits for external change. Active faith says, "Lord, I believe you are at work. I will do my part by planting these seeds, and I trust you to stir the weather that brings the harvest." Notice the posture. Active faith includes humility and labor. It invites God's participation rather than substituting for it. This is the mode Napoleon Hill described. Faith becomes power when translated into purposeful action. Let me give you a practical, step-by-step 7-day starter plan. This is not a miracle protocol, it's a ritual of alignment. Do it with commitment for 1 week and then repeat, adjusting the targets as you learn. Day 1. Write your one-sentence purpose. Make it measurable and 12-month bound. Read it aloud. Place it where you will see it every morning. Day 2. Break the 12-month purpose into quarterly and monthly milestones. Choose 3 micro goals you can achieve this month that point directly to the larger goal. Day 3. Schedule 2 sacred hours on your calendar for the next 5 weekdays. Protect them. During the first sacred hour, do the highest leverage task related to your purpose. During the second, do supportive work, outreach, learning, or systems. Day 4. Create a simple tracking sheet. Every day for 7 days, mark 1 box for whether you completed your sacred hours, 1 box for a micro goal completed, and 1 box for a 5-minute review. This creates immediate feedback. Day 5. Reach out to one person who can encourage, mentor, or hold you accountable. Tell them your one-sentence purpose and ask for a check-in next week. Day 6. Take one public step of accountability. Post your one-sentence purpose in the comments or tell a friend. Public declaration increases resolve without guaranteeing outcome. Day 7. Review and adjust. Celebrate progress. Note one change to make next week to improve your sacred hours or micro goals. Repeat this cycle. Progress compounds. And while you do it, practice patience. Time is faithful to the one who consistently invests it. Let's return to the metaphors that help this feel alive. Imagine a sailboat. The ocean is wide and sometimes terrifying. You can stand on the shore and pray for wind. Or you can hoist the sail, face the gusts, and trim as the breeze arrives. God often moves like wind, swift, unseen, powerful. But the sail must be up for that wind to push you forward. The sail is your preparation, the hoisting of skills, habits, and obedience to daily tasks. The wind is the divine assistance that arrives when our vessel is ready. If the sail is furled, the wind passes you by. If the sail is up and you are steering, what looked impossible becomes a reachable harbor. Picture a candle in a drafty room. Prayer lights the candle. Action shields it from the wind and positions it so the flame can grow. If you only light the candle but never build a lamp or move it out of the wind, the flame will struggle to illuminate. God honors the lit heart, but He also honors the hands that build the lamp. Think about seeds again. Seeds need soil, water, and time. You cannot will a plant out of the ground by wishing alone. You must dig, sow, nurture, and wait. That waiting is not passive resignation, it's active tending. You will be tempted to compare harvests. Don't. You are not called to the same timeline as another person. You are called to faithful cultivation of your own field. There are practical habits that accelerate the arrival of divine response to applied faith. First, a weekly Sabbath of sorts for strategy. 1 hour each week where you step away from the urgent to evaluate the trajectory of your 12-month goal. What's working? What's not? This hour keeps you strategic and prevents busyness from masquerading as progress. Second, a morning ritual that aligns heart and task. 5 minutes of focused gratitude, 5 minutes of visualization of your one-sentence purpose fulfilled, and 5 minutes of planning the 3 tasks that will move you most that day. This 15-minute ritual primes your brain to see opportunities and to choose action instead of distraction. Third, a habit of celebrating micro-wins. Gratitude is part of faith. Recognition of small advances fuels desire and reduces the pressure to be flawless. The human spirit needs to see forward movement to continue moving. Now, a careful word about obstacles that are beyond personal control. This message is not intended to blame people who face systemic barriers. Real hardship, injustice, health crises, and structural limitations require community, policy change, and sometimes professional assistance beyond individual effort. Do your part within what's possible, and when the road requires help, seek it. Ask your community, church, or peers for support. Let faith applied include wise reliance on systems and relationships that widen your path. You may wonder, what about miracles that arrive without visible preparation? They happen, yes, moments of sudden grace, coincidence, divine interruption. But more often than not in the testimonies, you can measure miraculous openings come after preparation. The miracle is not always a replacement for action. It is frequently an acceleration of what steady labor has already begun. God's ways are not limited to human patterns, but He often chooses partnership with human obedience. Here's a short diagnostic to test whether you're in passive prayer or applied faith. Are your days organized around your highest aim, or are they organized around crisis and distraction? If the latter, you have to choose to reroute. It's not complicated, it's intentional. The discipline to reroute is the same discipline that readies you for extraordinary response. Accountability matters. When you declare your purpose publicly, even to one other person, you increase the odds you'll move. A public declaration is not magic, it's leverage. It creates moral and social pressure that helps you show up. I want to give you a light mid-video invitation. If this is resonating, type START in the comments right now. One word, a single registration of intent. That micro commitment tilts your week toward motion. Let's talk about the test of constancy, the season when everything seems to conspire against you. Expect it. When obstacles arrive, ask yourself, what skill can I learn? What relationship can I strengthen? What assumption can I abandon? Trials are not necessarily signs of punishment. They are often refining fires that strengthen endurance and discernment. Keep your one-sentence purpose visible. Let obstacles produce creativity, not despair. Now for a vital tactical element, iteration. Apply the scientific method to your life. Hypothesize a tactic for 1 week, test it, measure results, and then iterate. If your sacred hours produce 1 hour of genuine output and 4 hours of scattered activity, change the environment or the task. You are not expected to get it perfect on day 1. You are expected to be a student of results. That posture, curious, adaptive, resilient, is what readies you for unexpected favor. As you do the work, practice short, honest prayers that ask for strength to act rather than simply for results. A prayer might be, Lord, give me the courage to do the next right thing today and the wisdom to learn from what follows. 2 sentences, direct, humble, action-oriented. If you want to say it aloud now, do it. This is not theology as checklist, it is faith as alignment. The climax of this truth is an image. God blows the wind when your sail is up. He lifts when your hands are already reaching. He multiplies when you begin the multiplication. That is the miracle of partnership. The impossible looks like a sudden elevation, but often it is the visible peak of innumerable unseen disciplines beneath it. So, what does do your part look like in a concrete daily template? Here is a day you can model. Morning, 15-minute ritual, gratitude, visualization, prioritize tasks, then first sacred hour, deep work on your top micro goal. Midday, movement, basic maintenance tasks, short review of progress. Use a 60 to 90-minute focused block on the second most important task. Afternoon, second sacred hour if needed for outreach, creation, or systems work. 5-minute check-in on progress and emotions. Evening, 15-minute review and planning. Mark your tracking sheet, celebrate 1 micro win. Before sleep, quiet reflection or prayer requesting endurance and thanking for the smallest forward movement. If you follow a rhythm like this, your faith becomes an engine. If you do it for months, not just days, the cumulative result will look more like momentum than luck. Let me emphasize, this is not a transactional gospel. God is not a vending machine where you insert disciplined behavior and receive guaranteed outcomes. Rather, God is a partner, relational, sovereign, merciful, who responds to faith expressed as obedient action. That response aligns circumstances, opens doors, connects you to people and opportunities, and sometimes reshapes your internal capacities so you can steward greater things. Do your part with humility and diligence. Invite God into the parameters of your plan. Watch for ways He shows up that you didn't predict. Before we close, hear this encouragement. Your current limit is seldom permanent. People grow in levels by deliberately choosing hard things, by refusing to shrink in the face of setbacks, and by cultivating small, persistent practices. The mountain you now see might be the very contour God intends to move through your consistent effort. Start where you are. Start with 1 sentence. Start with 1 hour. Start with 1 imperfect step. If you're ready to make a public micro-commitment right now, type START in the comments. Let that be your first small public move. And when you write that one-sentence purpose, make it visible. Put it on your mirror, your phone wallpaper, your kitchen counter. Read it each morning and ask, what is one measurable action today that honors this sentence? Do that daily. Write your one-line purpose in the comments now. I will read them, I will encourage where I can, and this community will hold space for one another. If you want weekly reminders and practical teachings that help you turn faith into disciplined action, subscribe to this channel. I'll be here each week with tools and testimonies to keep you moving. Do your part. Plant the seeds, hoist the sail, light the lamp. Work with intention. Persist through the tests. Trust God as the wind that comes not necessarily because you shouted louder, but because you prepared the vessel to be moved. Watch how seeming impossibilities begin to shift. Watch how doors open that you didn't force. Watch how your small, steady faith applied to clear purpose reshapes your life.
Father, give us strength to do the next right thing today. Grant us courage to begin, wisdom to persist, and humility to partner with what you are already doing. Amen. You don't need permission to start. You don't need perfect timing. You need a clear purpose, burning desire, disciplined action, and the courage to persist. Do your part and watch God do the impossible to lift you to the top.